You're an inspiration to a lot of women out there who want to do what you do.
Dancing is my first love. My dad sings. I want to spend more time with dad. That's how I got into singing. My first show was opening for Adnan Sami at the Dubai World Trade Center. I knew a desk job was not for me, and if I get an opportunity, I'm gonna jump right onto it. Small steps, small step. I grabbed that opportunity and I was like, I gotta do this.
You come from a Muslim family.
Yes. My family are conservative. It took me a little time to get them to think that this is something I want to pursue and nothing else. That's where it was a little bit of a trouble. After looking at me now and seeing that I'm happy, that's what matters the most. They have their phases. They come back and say, did you really have to do that dance video? Did you really have to wear that? Do what you want. At the end, your happiness matters and your family will see that. Time heals everything and you got to give yourself that time. You can't say, I'm a strong woman, let's just suppress it. No. Learn to understand your feelings and go with it.
Welcome to Women of Wonder by Reema Mahajan, or Wow Women as we lovingly call it. This is our initiative to bring to you stories of empowered and ambitious women so that we all take inspiration from them. My guest today is a celebrity RJ. She has more than 1.2 million followers across all social media channels. She's done shows with Bollywood celebrities such as Shah Rukh Khan and Neha Kakkar, and A.R. Rahman, and many more. I think the list is very long if I start counting it. She's none other than Miss Mariyam Kisat. Welcome to the show, Mariyam.
Thank you. So lovely to be here. And honestly, I did not count my followers. So when you said 1.2 million, I'm like, really? 1.2 million across all channels?
Absolutely. We've done our research. We've done all the study behind it, and you have more than that. So 1.2 is just the baseline.
Thank you.
More to come, I would say. More to come. And you're doing
you.
such brilliant work across RJing plus social media channels. So you're an inspiration to a lot of women out there who want to do what you do. So that's why we are here, and we'd love to learn more from your journey, take inspiration, and I think you might just spread a smile today.
100%. Let's do this.
Let's start from the beginning, Mariyam. Tell us where you're from, where have you grown up, what was Bachpan like, and how did RJing come into life?
So Bachpan was in Bahrain.
Okay.
You know, I was born in Gujarat, Surat, and immediately mom and dad shifted to Bahrain. We were there for 8 years, and then we came to UAE because of dad's job. So dancing is my first love, and every time I thought of being on stage, I wanted to dance. And then dad and my sister, my dad sings. I love the fact that he got my sister into it because he's like, iska kuch nahi hone wala, she's going to become a dancer. So I said, no, I want to spend more time with dad. That's how I got into singing.
Oh, brilliant. You got into singing because you want to spend more time with your dad.
Yes, and out of jealousy.
And then how did the big shows happen from there?
The big shows only happened because of City 1016, and I'll get there. I first performed in Manipal, and they saw that, okay, I could do something more with it, and then took me to Manipal, India. We competed there, and that's where I got my, confidence. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. That's where I started singing properly.
Brilliant.
And I won a trip to Prague with City 1016. I was a loyal listener, a loyal fan. And I said, okay, you know what? I want to go to Prague with the team. So I won, my friend won, and in the bus we were playing Antakshari, and she's like, she can sing, let her sing. And I sang a song, Maya Maya. And then they kept calling me for shows. And my first show was opening for Adnan Sami at the Dubai World Trade Center. So,
ooh, what was that moment like when you stepped on the stage?
I've always liked being on stage. After Manipal, I kind of realized that. But I just never thought that my first show, especially singing, not even dancing, was going to be opening for Adnan Sami. So it was surreal. It was something that I'd never expected. But, small steps. I grabbed that opportunity and I was like, I got to do this.
Brilliant. Now we are on singing. Can you sing a little piece for us?
Okay, because I said Maya Maya, and that's actually a song that I started with. I'm going to sing a little bit of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tu neel samandar hai, tu neel samandar hai. मैं रेत का साहिल हूँ, मैं रेत का साहिल हूँ, हाँ
Oh my God. I don't have words. I'm mesmerized.
Thank you.
Okay.
My sister taught me that, by the way.
Well, kudos to your sister. I mean, I think she must be a wonderful singer just like you, is
She has always been the number one singer in the family. She's just not very confident to get out there.
Where is she right now?
She's basically in her own shell. She's into finance. So we're like two
Okay.
very different people. She's here with me in Dubai. We stay together. Alifia, if you are hearing this, you've got to do something about your singing.
Well, Alifia, if you're hearing this, we'd love to have you on the show one day. So, but tell us, how does finance and RJing stay in the same house?
We can't.
We-
We cannot. We have the same fights. You took my clothes. Let me watch, because we share the same room too. So it's like cats and dogs basically. My mom's always coming in between. Why you guys keep fighting? I'm like, listen,
Abhi
Abhi,
bhi grown-ups.
grown ups. We actually fight more now because we're like, no, it's my word against yours. So I want your shirt. You want my shirt. We cannot. We just can't. We love each other, but we need our space.
My kids are 4 and 8. They fight, but I was hoping things will get better.
It never gets better. It just becomes worse. Let me tell you that.
You're brilliant at doing some mashups. I've seen them. Can you do one for us on the show too, please?
Okay, so I'll do the first mashup that went viral. It's the Unholy mashup. And honestly, I also think it went viral because of Yogesh's expressions. I think he killed it with his expressions. So I'm gonna... can I play the
Yes,
karaoke?
please do.
Okay, awesome. Lucky, lucky girl. She got married to a boy like you. She'd kick you out if she ever knew about all the you tell me that you do. Hey Ram, chahe leela chahe Ram. In dono ke love mein duniya ka kya kaam. इनका तो फंडा है सिंपल सा यार गोली मारो तो पंगा आँख मारो तो प्यार Mommy don't know daddy's getting hot at the party shop doing something unholy ramta jogi hoy 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 मैं प्रेम दा प्याला पियाया मैं प्रेम दा प्याला पियाया Mommy don't know daddy's getting hot at the party shop doing something unholy.
Amazing, as always. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
Singing took you to the stage. What about dancing? You're still pursuing it. What do you love about it?
So, again, I've not been trained in either. So, because of City 1016, the station I work for, singing kind of took a step up. So in terms of dancing, I was part of this dance crew called Avega Dance Creations. And we are all a bunch of dancers who've not been trained. We just love dancing. We do it out of, love and passion for it. We have performed at the Junction. We've performed for people. It's basically theatre and dance put together. So I've learned a lot from there. My group of friends are all dancers. So whenever I get a chance to dance with them is when I do it. If I get to perform on stage, that would be lovely. But I think singing has kind of taken that forward. I've taken singing forward because of the work that I do.
You do singing, dancing, RJing, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think of traditional career streams, or was RJing always?
I actually only thought of a traditional career field because I thought that was my only scope and that's where life is going to take me, right? So I was doing a marketing job before City 1016. So I graduated, I worked for an ad agency. Uske baad I went to another events company and I was there for a good year and a half. And I knew a desk job was not for me. And if I get an opportunity, I'm going to jump right onto it. And I got that opportunity.
How did you get that opportunity?
So I won, again, like I said, I won flight with City 1016. They heard me sing. They called me to do a few shows. I opened for a few shows. And then they asked me to come and dub a few ads. I did that. Cut to, I met Malavika, who was a radio presenter back then. I love Malu.
Malu, we love you, by the way.
Malu, we love you. And we met at an event. And she's like, what are you doing working backstage? You got to be in front. And then she's like, why don't you just come in and audition? I got a call from our boss. And back then, and she's like, why don't you come audition? I auditioned. And here I am.
Brilliant. So I think your journey has been really on the flow, on the
Yeah,
go, right?
yeah.
And how from singing from a trip you land into a job at
Yeah.
RJing. So what is RJing like these days? What's your favorite part of RJing, and what do you think is like the biggest challenge you have?
So, what is RJing these days? It's a 50-50 of being on air and off air. Like, people can't ask me a question now saying, why are you so dressed up? You're just an RJ. Right? No one's going to see you. It's 50-50. It's visual too. So, if anyone has to talk about radio presenting and all of that, it's also visual these days. So, that's RJing right now. In terms of what was your question? What was your next
What are
question?
the biggest challenges you feel as an RJ?
Challenges, again, like any other. If you're going through a tough time right now, you're still smiling in front of the camera. And you've got to be that for 3 hours during your show. And that can take a toll on you. Not just on your show. You're walking around with your friends and family. And if someone comes and talks to you in a really bad mood, you've got to be always, you got to put your guard up. You've got to put a smile on your face whenever. And I'm not just talking about RJing. I'm talking about every person, anywhere. Anyone goes for a client meeting, that's a problem. But I would say that's one of my main issues. And also, it's okay to make mistakes. But I feel like if we make mistakes, everyone knows about it. I get like five to seven text messages from friends. Haha, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
But in a fun way. But yeah, you got to keep that in mind too. That you can't
you
make
live.
as many mistakes as you would like.
You can't reshoot it.
Yeah, you can't reshoot it. You're live. You are live.
Like a podcast, but yeah, you can. But you are on social media, Mariyam, and you're very active. You're fairly active, right? So, do you get trolled on social media ever, or is it just love?
It is 80% love, I must say that. But Instagram is great. I think it depends on the platforms too, and I don't think I've heard anyone really talk about this. But I have to say, so TikTok is very vocal about what they feel. Everyone on TikTok is extremely, if they hate you, they hate you, and they'll make sure you know you are hated. Okay, so you get trolled, and I don't know if I can say this, but I've been called names. And my father is on social media. He sees those comments. He comes and asks me, why don't you mute your comments? Why do you want to see comments? And I was like, no, it's okay for me to know what people think of me because I love constructive criticism. But these hate comments you got to ignore. In the beginning, it's not easy to see those comments. So it did affect me in a lot of ways possible. And not just me, people who are not on Instagram, but their profiles are public, you get trolled. People get trolled left, right, and center, not just for people who are influencers or celebrities, but everyone gets trolled in ways you got to ignore it. You've got to ignore it. So it wasn't easy. Yeah. But I had to get out of it somehow, and it kept happening. So once you're used to it, you're like, whatever.
See, the hate comments are not constructive criticisms,
not
right?
At all.
Some of these are just taking their personal things out on you. They've
boredom.
had a bad day and they'll just come and troll your profile. But what are the strategies you use to make sure your mental health is not affected, right? And sometimes it can take a toll because next day you have to show up.
Yeah.
You can't escape. You are in a job or a business or whatever you call it. Your profession is to show up every day.
Yeah.
How do you do that, Mariyam?
You got to take a break. And a lot of my friends will watch this and say, you never reply to my messages. You hardly pick up our calls. If you see, I want to be better at interacting with my, with my followers. But sometimes you've got to keep your mental health intact. So I post and I keep my phone on the side. I do not use my phone.
Really?
I do not.
Do you have switch off time zones where you're not checking your social media?
I don't have time zones, but I just keep my phone on the side when I don't need to use it. No matter what the call is, it can wait. I keep my phone on the side, and I was not like that. I'm not someone who will go out with friends and take a story unless until I'm meeting a friend after so long and I just want to capture that moment, yes. But I'm not that person who will take the phone and shoot everything that I'm doing. I cannot do that. I have to put my phone on the side, and there has to be a balance between your real life and your real life. And that's the balance everyone should have, even with work. Have that balance. You get out of work, don't think of work. You're going to get calls, you're going to get emails. Leave that. You got to keep your priorities. You got to make sure your priorities are set. And this came to me after a very, very long time. After I've burnt myself out and started believing that, okay, I'm not loved. And all this comes from social media.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that came
And,
after a
and
while.
burnouts are real these days
Yeah.
because, all of us are kind of being, by the virtue of being on social
Yeah.
media, you're online 24/7 and you always have that thing, let me check Instagram, let me
Yeah.
check TikTok.
Yeah.
So I think it takes time for everybody to switch off, isn't it?
Correct.
But let's talk about your family, Mariyam. You said your dad is on social media.
Yeah.
I'm sure your extended family is also
Yes.
watching you.
Yes.
And I think you come from a Muslim family,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So how do they take it? What is their response? They tend to be conservative traditionally,
Correct.
but have they changed their mindsets now that you're in this profession?
So I am from a Bohri community, and my family is, you can say they are conservative, but at the same time, my dad loves music. He loves singing. So he understands where I am coming from. He knows that I want to pursue that. It took me a little time to kind of get them to think that this is something I want to pursue and nothing else. This is not like a thing I'm going to do on the side, but this is the only thing I want to do. That's where it was a little bit of a trouble. But I think after looking at me now and seeing that I'm happy at the end of the day, I think that's what matters the most. They have their phases.
Yeah.
They come back and say, did you really have to do that dance video? Did you really have to wear that? And I'm like, no, I didn't have to really wear that. I felt like wearing it and I wanted to do it. It makes me happy. But at the same time, I do think of my family before posting a lot of things, which I feel like is okay because my parents go out, they meet people. I don't want them to face, whatever they have to face with the community. But at the same time, I'm doing what I do. I'm making them proud in ways that they are proud. And that's about it. Think of your family, think of yourself, and just move and do what you want. At the end, your happiness matters, and your family will see that.
Well, that's brilliant, Mariyam, because you've talked about happiness,
Yeah.
and happiness once starts from yourself, extends
Yeah.
to your family, and then
Yeah.
extends to your community, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So, brilliantly put there. But again, I had another question regarding this. You're a brown girl,
Yes.
right? And have you been ever trolled for that? Did you get any comments for that?
People say bullying is something crazy, and everyone knows that's not a good thing. It's not about what other people who you don't know are calling you that. It's about your friends thinking it's okay to joke about it. It's that. So bullying is bad. People calling you Kali, people calling you all sorts of names is okay. Everyone knows that's a bad thing. It's about people who you know think it's okay for them to joke about it because ha dost hai na. You understand it's just for fun. But they don't understand that there's a lot that goes behind.
And it hurts you.
And it hurts because
Yeah.
they are your people calling you that.
Yes.
It's not okay for your people to call you names like this, even if it's a joke. I don't think Kali is a bad word. In my head, I don't think Kali is a bad word, but it's the way you put it.
Yes.
So yes, I have gone through that in school. Okay, school, I'm not going to take that into consideration. We were all young, but it's also growing up when people go like, "Arey yaar," they make all sorts of jokes, racist jokes, and they think it's okay.
It's not okay.
Your friends
Yes.
thinking it's okay is not okay because they just like, "Dost hai, chalta hai." That's not okay. You got to draw that line.
And how do you draw that line these days?
I either give it back to them, which I don't want to, but
Yes.
after a point, you just being like, okay, you got to just keep quiet. And I've got to shut you up in some way or the other. But I ignore. Like I do on social media.
Yes.
I ignore, roll my eyes, turn over because there's no point.
Yes.
There's no point. You explain it to them nicely. I think the first step is to explain it to them nicely. Tell them how it makes you feel.
Yes.
If they don't understand that, is when you go to the next step, either ignore or either just shoo them off.
That's a great piece of advice, honestly. And I think it's kind of relevant to all women today because everybody has different challenges they are
100%.
facing. Mariyam, you're a great example of being a strong, confident woman who's kind of living life on her own terms, if I can put it that way,
Yeah.
right? What's your advice for every woman out there who's looking for inspiration? Because, the reality is not all of them are able to do that. What do you do today?
Very, very, very well put, Reema. So I actually want to talk about this, if you don't mind me talking about it I want to talk about it in detail.
Go for it.
Okay, because I
Stage
get
is
messages like this from girls almost every second day asking, how do you do this? Because they all know I'm Muslim, right? In our country, the number one thing, and I don't know how to put this. We're living in the 21st century. I understand family matters. I get that. But we also need to understand that our family, the gap between our generation and our parents there's a big gap. I don't see that gap between my mom and my nani. And it's the truth. I see that gap between me and my mom. We have a 30-year difference. And it's okay to sit down and explain things to them, saying, Mama, the world is changing. You've got to understand that we have our own lives and we want to live it on our terms. I get messages saying, Mariyam, how do we tell our parents we want to go into the creative field? And I'm not talking singing and dancing. I'm talking about just being a painter. Yeah, but it's not a desk job. It's not working in a bank, right? You're not an engineer, you're not a doctor. And that's something that people and parents don't get. You can make a career out of all these other beautiful things in life, different things in life. I need to tell all those strong women to do what you do. Your parents will understand. Don't go against them. Do not go and say, I'm going to do what I want. Sit down, tell them that this is what I want to do. I want to give it a shot. You see how this works out for me. Give me a little time and they're going to come in the middle. And you're going to see how you yourself, because you're doing stuff you love, you're going to see how you flourish. And that's going to make you confident. If I was sitting here doing a desk job, I would have not been confident talking about what I was doing. Take that step. Have that conversation.
Yeah, have that conversation. And I think it reminds to my life when I was studying, my parents wanted to get me married, like every Indian household. And I sat them down and said, give me 2 years. I just want to go do an MBA.
Yeah.
And I think if I had never had that conversation, I wouldn't have gone to IIMs or be here today, to be honest, if I hadn't had that conversation. But I will tell you, it took me 5 days of preparing and almost 5 years of journey to get to that conversation and say, I need time, I'm not getting married today.
Yes.
So lovely to hear that thought. So all the girls watching, please take inspiration from her. Go have the conversation.
You know, but a lot of girls also come and say, but it's not as easy as, because maybe my parents were okay to talk to me and kind of give me that chance. A lot of parents don't. And I know this because my friends are going through it. My friends who are about my age, late 20s, mid-20s, whatever, they still have a curfew. They still have to go back at a certain amount of time. So when you have, and she's working, she works with me as well. She used to work with me as well. So even if she got late at work, she had to show a picture to her family saying, listen, I'm still at work.
Oh my God.
So
seriously?
How do you talk to parents who might be a little more strict than other parents, right? Again, first of all, sit down. If you know someone in your family who your parents trust and who you think can help you with this, talk to that. It's always that trust level that needs to be broken. If I know someone else who can talk to my parents, I rather talk to them first, tell them, I think you can explain it better to my parents because you understand how their mentality is. So coming from a third person, it's always...
Yeah,
it's always,
find that support system in your house. Maybe the first step is not your parents. Maybe it's your brother who understands it, is a bit senior. Maybe it's your cha-cha. Whoever it is in the family, you can just put in that little nice word. But take that conversation, take the gut to go and talk to them. It will work out eventually.
It will. Just do what you love. At the end, think of that.
Brilliant. It's been lovely talking to you, Mariyam, but we move on to our next round, which is called Direct Dil Se. And we have this lovely hamper in there, which we are not stealing the idea from Karan Johar at all, which you've got to win. But I have to tell you, this hamper has been designed by women from our community. They're all women entrepreneurs. And, a lot of stuff which goes in there, right from the candle to the bottle to the decoration of the hamper, comes from the community. So these are the women who are taking the second step in their life after having a successful family, being at home, having kids, but now trying to follow their passion.
What's her name?
The decoration is done by Ganeshwari. Her business is called Wrap It Up. The candle has been done by somebody called Neha. We've got a bunch of women coming together to bring you this.
It looks the candle looks extremely edible.
Exactly.
You want to drink the candle.
It smells really nice. So it's for your, when you need a break, you need you want your time out. Please think of us and the women out there.
I'm so glad that this is all done by women. It's just amazing. This is beautiful. I think everyone seeing it is just fantastic.
Yes, thank you so much.
So good.
So let's move on to our rapid fire segment.
Yes.
We keep the answers short and we'd love to know the other side of Mariyam, the things that people don't know about you.
Okay.
All right. If you could sing a duet with any singer, who would it be and, which song would you choose?
Sunidhi Chauhan.
Okay.
Girls Like to Swing.
Brilliant. If you could dance with any dancer, who would it be and what style of dancing would you prefer?
Bollywood for sure, with a little hip hop. And I'd do it with Hrithik.
I
love
you'll
Hrithik.
Rock it,
I
sure.
love Hrithik.
What's the most memorable or funny thing that happened to you on stage or on air somewhere?
on stage, yes, I tripped. I think it was one of my first performances, and I'm wearing heels right now, but I'm a very shoe person. So I'm very used to wearing shoes and flats and stuff. So I go up on stage all like, let's do this.
Yes.
And I trip.
And you
So,
fell flat in front of a big
thankfully
audience.
not flat, but I went
Yeah.
like, but I know people saw, my
Yes.
friends definitely saw it.
Yes.
But I think one of the most embarrassing moments would be that, especially in front of a lot
Yeah.
of people, one of your first shows and you've tripped. So yeah, I still cringe when I think about that moment.
What's the most common or annoying misconception that people have about you or RJs?
That we only work during our shows, and the fact that, abhi to, you just have to speak for 1 minute, that's it. Yeah, and then you go on it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really annoying. There is no that's it. We work throughout the day because
Yes.
content is everywhere. And we have, like I said, it's also visual, it's also social
Yes.
media. So we work around the clock.
What's the biggest phobia that you have, and how do you cope with it?
I mean, I haven't really had to cope up with it because it's the fear of losing someone. And I'm not just talking about death or anything. I'm just talking about fear of losing a person in your life. How do I cope with it? Yes, you got to take time. Again, time heals everything, and you got to give yourself that time. You can't say, I'm a strong woman, let's just suppress it and let's show the world you can be great. No. Learn to understand your feelings and go with it.
You know how they say, there's a very famous quote going around, strong women might need coffee.
Yes.
But, and
Yes.
but, the tears are real. So there
Absolutely.
we go. Who's your favorite social media personality that you follow and you just track every day?
Social media personality. Oh wow, there are many. Do you want me to name someone in Dubai or?
No, anywhere in the world. Just for inspiration, who do you look up to and you're like, oh wow, she's doing good content and I would want to check her feed every day or follow her.
So I like Bhaiyaji Smile. She's a
Okay.
dancer. She's the one with the Nach. I don't know if you know team.
No, I don't know. But I'll check her out
Yeah,
after
so
this.
she's really graceful. I love the way she dances.
Okay.
And I think recently she went through a breakup.
Okay.
And the way she's portrayed herself with full
Right,
dignity,
right.
I absolutely loved that. So I think after that, I kind of feel like she's someone I would really like to
Brilliant.
follow.
Okay. What's your biggest dream or aspiration?
Bollywood.
Brilliant.
And I'm
Yeah,
not
go.
just saying it. I've said this, I think, earlier, but I was in Bloody Daddy with Shahid Kapoor. My scene got edited. It got cut out, the movie. But I went for that audition. I went for my costume trials. I shot with Shahid Kapoor and Ronit Roy. So it was a great experience. It's not in the movie, but you'll see my name in the credits. So please wait for the credits if you watch that movie.
Yeah, there's more movies coming up, I'm sure. Inshallah.
Yeah.
As we
So
say.
I'm
Yes.
hoping, staying here with my family.
Yes.
If I get any opportunity, if I get to do auditions, if I get to go for it, go to Mumbai, try my luck as well. So
Yes.
all of that is in the pipeline. So yeah, trying to
And
kind of
what was that feeling walking onto the Bollywood sets the first day? What was Shahid
Scary.
working like?
It was scary, weak in the knees. You're in front of the camera almost every day, but then when they say action, you're like, ugh. My only dialogue was shameless men. I couldn't say shameless men. I said shameless boy, shameless guy. Men came after, I think, the fifth take. So yeah, it was Shahid was amazing. Ronit
Yes.
Roy, crazy. They're amazing actors.
Yeah.
They had to just redo it because of me. So yeah, that was scary.
But I'm sure there'll be a time when you will be like,
Ah.
take done. Yeah, one day.
One day.
One
Thank
day.
you,
Amen.
Reema.
Amen. Praying for that, I would
Thank
say.
you.
It's been brilliant. I think you won our hamper. So we'll hand it over to you because you're the rightful owner. This is called the Empowered and Ambitious Hamper. It's for all women like you who give inspiration to the world out there and
thank
through your
you.
journeys. And I really hope you like it.
Thank
But
you.
before we finish the show, Mariyam,
Yes.
I would love...
I'll do it.
I hope it doesn't fall. There we
I'm
go.
holding
We'll
it.
keep it back safely. Okay. There we go.
Oh, it smells so good. Yes.
I hope
so
you'll have a
good.
nice evening break.
My sister's going to be so jealous. No sharing here.
Alifia, if you're here, we want you on the show, so we'll give you one of these.
Oh, by the way,
also.
this is hers. She's going to see this.
Yeah.
This is hers.
You're wearing her clothes.
I'm wearing
so
her,
You steal
her top. Her
you
top.
steal her clothes too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting for her to leave home so I could just take this.
Brilliant. What's What's your message, Mariyam, to all the women watching this show, and there are tons of them out there, on how to be more confident, to be themselves, and look out?
We all have insecurities. We all have obstacles. I need you to think about just one step further. Do not think of the big picture. Do not think of the big picture. That'll happen when you take that first step. So whatever is coming in front of you right now, whatever obstacle is in front of you right now, think of that. Think how to beat that. Move a step forward. Think about giving your 100% at the job that you do or whatever you decide to do, and take that step further and further and further. When you look back 5 years, you're going to go like, oh my God, this is the big picture that I was dreaming of. So just take that one step further. Do not think of the big picture and you're good to go.
It's been lovely having you on the show. With that, we're going to end this show, but that doesn't mean please like and subscribe our channel, and we'll have more Women of Wonders coming soon in the next episode.